Oh, it ain't my fault. It ain't my fault. Oh, it ain't the wolf's fault. It ain't the wolf's fault. Mm-mm-mm. What's going on, guys? You know who it is. It's the Bad Wolf. Once again, your man in black. Ew, ew. And we're on the legal attack. So don't forget to hit that bell, like, and subscribe. Welcome to the tribe. The truth will not be denied. Just your foreign national born natural. Nothing to do with the ens leges. But I ask you to be my guest, unless you're Regis, because, well, I'm pretty sure he passed away. So rest in peace. Let's get into it. Now, by popular demand and request, we're going to do another one, two, and three more right to travels because people have requested it. No, I'm not going to do all 50 states. I'm showing you guys how to do it for yourselves. So these should be the last three right to travels in this particular avenue of interest, which is the state's legislative code, their code. Not that we have to abide by it because, well, we are the creators of the law, so we overstand it. But it is good to play nice in the sandbox. Now, what do I mean? Does that mean we can just ignore the law? It ain't my fault. Wolf said, no, no, no. It's not what I said. I'm saying they have a legislative code for what we're doing. We're abiding by that, but that doesn't mean that we necessarily have to go by their exact rules. They do not own us. We put them in power. We are the law. We put the law into place. Now, one troll said, the wolf said cops don't know the law. Yeah, they don't know all of the law, and they definitely don't know constitutional law. And I'll say it again if you want me to. They know traffic safety. That's not the law. That is a code for the corporation, for U.S. citizens operating in public in commerce. They administer safety protocols, codes, rules, and regulations for those operating in commerce, which is the public. And if a private person or citizen, those are two separate things, by the way. Private person means you're still in the corporation, but private. Private citizen means you're outside of the corporation and you are their boss in private capacity as a national, GPO style manual section 5.23. Lots of different things going on. So, that being the case, the police can administer over the public. And if the private waives their right to being private, then they may administer governance or administration over them. Otherwise, the average police officer you see is actually private security for their PMA, 14th Amendment U.S. citizens. That's their jurisdiction. If you legally want to know the merit behind it, that's what it is. Okay? Might sound crazy, but go ahead. Ask your legal department. Shoo shoo. Go away, little thing. Go ask your legal department and your commanding officer or the chief of police privately. Ask them. And you know what? I've already had chief of police admit, yes, he's right. So, them's the facts, Jack. So, where are we going to start first? We're going to go to Oregon because some people were all in my comments. Wolf, I ain't seen you do Oregon yet. Oregon or Oregon? Oregon Energy? Hmm. Or Oregon? I think it's Oregon. All right, so let's take a look, see what we can find. Once again, hope everybody's doing well out there. Just like I hope everybody's doing well in here. Well, I guess it's just me. So yeah, I'm doing good. Thanks for asking. Always doing well. Could be better. Could be better. The law could be helping me, you know, to get my son back after being kidnapped. Just gonna throw that out there. You know, could spend more time with my lady friend, but forward. Share my screen. Hide that thing. All right, so let's go to chat. Okay. I am seeking the state of Oregon, Oregon, um, their legislature code on non-resident registration slash exempt vehicles. Um, oh, I did spell it Oregon. That's funny. Freudian slip. Not bad. Um, okay. And so for this line of questions, do not use mine. Yeah. Please provide full text on the code section found. Searching just the for ORS 803.305 text. Searching now. Citing. Shabam! Let's see what Oregon has to say. Hoo-wee! They got a whole section here. Oh man, I thought this was going to be a short video. Fooled you. All right, so here's the law your video needs. Focus on non-resident vehicle registration and exemptions. I've included the full text, the key points that create and define the non-resident exemption and who counts as a resident, recitant. All right, let's let her read. Oh, wait, hold up. Aren't you guys yelling at me? Wolf, the video would have been better had we had volume to and audio to hear it. Okay, so should be good. Let's let's go.
ORS 803.305.
So Oregon State Code 803.305.
803.305. Exemptions from general registration requirements. Non-resident subsection.
Okay, so in there, once again, the key word here is exemptions and registration. That's how you find this one. So it knew what to find, but generally, you could also include the word vehicle. Doesn't seem like they use the word non-resident exactly, especially not in their title, making it a little harder to find. But there's still words that they can't get rid of. exemption, vehicle. Okay, so good try, Oregon. Nice try. It's cute. I remember my first beer. All right, so let's see what it says.
Subsection 14. Vehicles currently registered and titled in any other country, state, or territory are not required to be registered by this state. All of the following apply to this subsection. A. This
Okay, so Wolf, how does this pertain to me? I don't know. They said country, state, or territory. Okay, well, country, you can create your own nation. State, lowercase s, means any type of entity that you're creating where people or persons are gathered as an association, which would also be your trust or your nation. Territory, something that is encompassing generally claiming some land, an area that's foreign to them. So, yeah, these all basically can apply to you and what you're doing as long as you make it based on this. And that means they're not required to register your vehicle in this state. All of the following applies to this subsection. So let's see what else they have to say. So 803.305, this already applies to you. So you're good. You don't have to go any further. But let's see what else they're talking about.
This subsection only provides an exemption as long as the owner of the vehicle satisfactorily shows that the owner is not a resident of this state or has.
Okay. So once again, at this first period, you can stop here. You've already created your country, state, or territory. So they're trying to put on their additional limits down here to see what you apply or what, but we can stop right here. 803.305, 14. That's it. I'm good. Period. But then it says all of the following apply to the subsection. So, okay, so all of the following applies to subsection, but you don't have to be like 14A, B, and C in order to qualify. You qualify up to at 14. You don't have to go to A. But the subsection only provides an exemption as long as the owner of the vehicle. So who's the owner of the vehicle? The trust, the entity, your micronation, your state. You've transferred it to them. They own it. Satisfactorily shows that the owner is not a resident, resident. Your entity, trust, unincorporated, association, state, territory, whatever you're creating, is not a resident. It's not registered to them. They cannot find it in their system as a taxpayer or a resident of the state or a voter. So you're good. Of this state, lowercase s, you don't belong to their corporation. So 14 and 14A in part, you're good. But of course, they're going to add on some additional things to see if they can rope you back in because they're the thirsty dude at bar close and you're the pretty girl. Got it? Good. Let's keep going.
Has been a resident of this state for less than 30 days.
Now, understand that they said the word or. You've been a resident of this state for less than 30 days. Okay, so if you're a resident of there, so they have to throw in their word. Are you a resident, a res identity? Did they res your identity? Did you res your identity to them? Or did you reside enter their jurisdiction on paper with your vehicle and your trust? No, still private? Then you're not a resident, or it's not a resident. But if you did reside and you've only been there for less than 30 days, you're still exempt.
30 days. For the purpose of this paragraph, a person is a resident of this state if the person meets the residency requirements described in ORS 803.200.
So what they're trying to do here is they're saying, well, if you're in our area and you're a person, which we could challenge the definition of person. is a resident, so has resided, and you meet the requirements of that described in this section, well, then you're a resident, you've got residency, and your vehicle's not exempt. But that's why we don't use our name, because when we use our name, which has been recited to them, they could construe that unless you create an affidavit of not being a resident of their or this state. Don't fall for the shimmy sham.
803.200b. The exemption under this subsection applies to vehicles granted exemptions under ORS 802.500, 802.520, or 826.005 unless otherwise provided for under paragraph C of this subsection. C, except as otherwise provided in this paragraph. A vehicle operated over the highways of this state for compensation or profit must comply with the registration requirements under ORS 803.300 in the same manner as vehicles owned by persons in this state. The following vehicles are not subject to this paragraph. A. Vehicles operated under reciprocal registration exemptions established under ORS 802.500 or 826.005. B. Vehicles operated under an exemption established under ORS 802.520. C. Vehicles that are purported.
You guys don't have to worry about this part. Okay, it says duly registered, titled under the same state, blah, blah, blah. We're already good. We already have RS 14 and 14A in part, so we're good. All right, so residency criteria, exemptions, camper on vehicle. Okay, so if you got a camper on the vehicle, now look, way down here, they finally use the term non-residents. Once again, they probably watch my videos because just like as we move, they move. So what are they doing? They're talking, oh, let's not use the word non-residents in the general exemptions up here because then they can find the section. Let's use non-dash resident, right? See how they do that? Playing with the words, trying to make it a little harder. Yeah, good luck. That's also obfuscation states, just so you know, you're deliberately hiding things. The law states that any of these terminologies, codes, regulations should be able to be read, that the average person of average intelligence can understand the information. Hiding it is a felony. Sure, people are probably not going to sue you over it, but they could. So here they're using it down here in a different section to hide that general section. Because why? Because they probably heard me say on videos, look up non-resident vehicle registration. So then you're going to miss this. No, it could be just a general coincidence that they don't have it up there like that. Well, so we'll give them a little bit of a break. Moving on. Exception, camper. Remember, non-belligerent, non-combatant. This is education and entertainment purposes only. So if you've got a camper on a vehicle, this is what you're going to want to need to read through to see if you qualify for it. Remember, keep in mind you're operating as a non-resident, but if you have their plates on, you're a subject. Domicile requirements. A person may not register or renew their registration of a vehicle in this state unless the person is domiciled in this state, comma, as described in 803.355, period. So they're telling you right here, you have the right to not register your vehicle or renew the registration unless the person is domiciled in the state. So remember, you can construe yourself to be that person, the U.S. citizen, which your name is, but it's your trust or entity that's not registered to them. So once your vehicle is owned by that entity, You do not have to register it or renew. This section does not apply to persons required by ORS. Okay. So there are some people that are required 14th Amendment U.S. citizens, public persons, police officers, judges, lawyers, postal, all that good jazz. A person who is not domiciled, now they can say, oh, well, a trust can't be a person. That's not what the law says. A person can be a entity, ens legis, an association, a group, and it also can generally, if specifically mentioned, and it's not here, a living or natural person. If it doesn't say a natural person, which they're not going to put, why not? Because they do commerce with ens legis, corporations, associations. A living person is not required to register anything unless you're operating in the public capacity. Okay. Private passenger vehicle or vehicle with a loaded weight of no more than 10,000 pounds. A is not a motor home or a camper. Is used primarily for personal transportation. See, they're telling you where they don't have power. Is your vehicle for personal transportation? Exempt. Is it private passenger vehicle? Exempt. Less than 10,000 pounds? Exempt. Why? Because most things over 10,000 pounds are commercial. Most, not all, but most. If it's not a motorhome or a camper, these are their words. Not domiciled in this state? Exempt. Owner is absent from the state? Domiciled. Let's see what they say here. A person is domiciled in the state if the person's place of abode is in the state and the person and so it's compound, the person intends to remain in this state. Once again, person can be a person, place, or thing, movable thing. Abode is your home, okay, or where you're always to be found. So if your trust is not always to be found, registered, okay, because all these things mean registered, doesn't say in the physical state. This state, they're talking about their computer system, the paperwork within their system. And so not only is that all here and can be found, but it also you intend for it to always be there, or you intend as a 14th Amendment intend to always be there. Or if absent, to return to it. So you left for a while, but you're planning on coming back. So they're trying to say, well, sure, you left the state, but we knew you were coming back. This is where you always want to be found, right? Purchase and use of out of state registered vehicles. A person commits an offense of purchase and use of out of state registered vehicles if, or vehicle by, a resident, so resident, so you're a registered person to their state. If the person is a resident of this state and the person purchases a vehicle registered out of this state without doing all the following. Okay. So once again, resident. So they're saying if we own you and you buy a vehicle out of state, you better remove the registration plates and shall cause the vehicle to be registered and provided under the vehicle code. You shall not use within the state the vehicle except when person has paid the fees and has complied with the vehicle code. So they're telling you you better buy your vehicle from here, but if you do get it from somewhere else, you better register it here if you are a resident. Otherwise, you've committed a violation in traffic and they will ticket you. Really, what they're saying there is if you are a public official or a person who's part of the public by job or by choice, we want you to buy your stuff here. But if you buy it over there, bring it here and register it to us. If you're a resident, if you're non-resident, non-resident, can't tell you what to do as far as that's concerned. Doesn't mean you're above the law. Just means if you know how to use the law appropriately, use the law appropriately. That's it. I'll talk to you guys later. Enjoy. Travel safe. Know the law. Obey the rules of the roads. Be a non belligerent, non combatant.